Good morning and welcome to Daisha Today. We hope you are well. We hope you are keeping well. We are going to be talking to business owners, to publicans, to restaurant owners in a few minutes about the announcement yesterday that pubs and restaurants, effectively there's going to be so much disruption. 50,000 people effectively are going to be laid off. We are going to deal with matters as they arise on this programme. There will be no panic announcements. We will deal with things in a very calm and collected manner. We won't be dealing with rumours. We will deal only with facts. So if people are texting in about different things, we may not read out texts regarding rumours because we just don't do that. So, for example, people may wonder about different issues. We've heard what the government have had to say about all this, and we will deal with facts as we go along and what we know is going to happen. Special hello this morning to Frank and Sheila McGrath, Ballygarden, Kilmeaton, just up behind Houghton's Pub in Mid-Waterford. I met them briefly yesterday. I want to say a special hello to them. Hello also to those in St Patrick's Hospital. Are you still getting visitors there? Some people have been in touch about that. We want to remind people not to be trying to flight any rules regarding visiting loved ones. And remember, rules are there for a reason. This is not made up stuff. This is serious. Guidelines are also there for a reason. For example, social distancing. If you see 10 people in a Chippers, don't go in. Wait outside until you can go in, and then you'll be able to maintain a 2 metre distance from the next customer. As a GP said to me over the weekend, the best way to change your behaviour is to imagine you have the virus and you don't want to give it to anyone else. So change your own behaviour accordingly. Dr. Jeff Plant has just texted me in the last few seconds, basically to say that please tell your listeners not to come to GP surgeries if they have any respiratory symptoms, cold, flu, cough. This is of vital importance. The GP will ring you back. Please be patient while waiting to be phoned back. Backlogs will be considerable. We are doing our best. I also had a text in from Bishop Alphonsus Cullinan regarding the Mass over the weekend. A lot of people thanking WLR for the Mass that was played yesterday morning. And well done to everybody involved in making that happen in terms of technically as well. And there's also now a phone number. We'll call it out later. It's literally a phone number that you can ring in and you can get some prayer services on that phone number. You can pray remotely, I suppose. And the number's 085 761 1822. That's 085 761 1822. It's been called Dial a Prayer, which is, if we weren't living in these extraordinary times, it would be strange to say. As I say, Neil Kelly is going to join me in a second. Firstly, a quick message. These are times of solidarity, kindness, worry. My heart goes out also to anybody with anxiety and stress. Please keep talking to your loved ones about your stress and how you maybe don't want to listen to the news. More than likely, if you're one of those people, you mightn't be listening to shows like this. So if you know someone who suffers from anxiety attacks, ring them and take time to talk to them. And here's a suggestion. Tomorrow, St. Patrick's Day, I'm going to suggest something that I hope will spread. Why doesn't everyone listening to this morning get out their tricolours, their Ireland jerseys, their Ireland scarves, and hang them from the front or back windows? A show of solidarity, a show of unity, a sign that we're going to get through this, a celebration of humanity and all that makes us great. If you don't have an Ireland scarf, what about getting a Waterford scarf or a county colours? We're all in this together. Neil Kelly, good morning.
Damien, how are you? Good morning to you.
Neil, tell me about your business grouping. Tell me about the number of pubs and clubs within your business grouping, the Causeway Group, and tell me about the number of employees, full and part-time.
So we're up to 200, close to 200 part-time and full-time staff within 8 licensed premises. So that's hotels, restaurants, nightclubs, bars. So yeah, tough times.
What did you do over the weekend?
So we had a meeting with Sean and Caddy, the Johnsons, and Noel, and all the other managers, and we came to the tough decision that it was up to us, not the government, to make the decision to close all our venues. So as of 7 o'clock on, I think I've lost track of what day it is now because you're kind of at home. I think Friday, we made the tough decision, which we feel was the right decision, to close all our premises. We had to keep the Greenway running that night, obviously, because we had customers staying overnight. But as of yesterday, as 4 o'clock, the Greenway Hotel Manor closed also. So we closed the Arlington Lodge and we closed all other premises as well.
So effectively 200 full and part-time employees, is that it?
That's it, yeah. So all our staff have gone on temporary leave as of yesterday. And tough times for all of them. We've got a lot of people who have mortgages, they have bills to pay, they have everything, so it's worrying times for everyone,
The government obviously announced yesterday that all pubs to close. They can't technically force the order in. It has to be done voluntarily because you need a change in law to do that. And we presume every pub in Waterford and the South East and the country is adhering to this. What happens to your staff, Neil? Are they going to be getting paid? Like, people are asking about social welfare payments. What's the situation?
So at the moment, the government has sent out the Department of Employment Affairs and Social Protection last night that if possible, that the companies could pay €203 a week. We have a meeting today to see if that's feasible. We don't know how long this is going to last. They're saying March 29th, but the scary thing is we feel it's going to last a lot longer than that. So, a lot of our staff will be on a lot more than €203 a week. So just getting them down to that is tough going. The only thing I will say to everyone is a lot of people will be staying indoors. So, I do see mortgage relief. I think Bank of Ireland and Ulster Bank have made the decision to freeze mortgages. I'm not too sure, but I saw that this morning. There's a lot of hearsay going around. So, as it stands, all our staff go on temporary leave.
Stay on the line, Neil, because I think I've got Tom Drowan on the line. Are you there, Tom?
Morning, Damien. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. I'm good. Tom, you are manager of the Cove Bar in Waterford, very well-known bar. You're also secretary of the Vintners Federation. Tom, Monday morning, tell me your feelings.
It's sad. It's sad, really. Look, it was totally necessary to do what we did. I think it should have been done maybe a little bit sooner by the government, but they're doing a good job at the moment. It's passed around by people when in close contact, and for its very nature, pubs are close contact places, so it had to be done.
Do you think all the pubs and bars are going to adhere to this, Tom? Because, as I said, the government can't force pubs to close. It would need a change in law, so they're looking for voluntary closure. Is your understanding that all pubs will be closed?
I would imagine so. Again, it's up to the individual involved, but I would have to say, there's a lot of rubbish going on social media at the moment about places being packed. Once this was mentioned on Thursday, we've pretty much been empty since. People on the whole are excellent. They know the situation, and there's a lot of scaremongering around. People giving out about the crowds out in Tremor yesterday. That go for a walk on the beach once you're not in close contact with people, and shaking hands and passing it around like that. The medical profession will say to you, live as normal life as you can. Just stay away from people, and we'll slow down the spread of this, and then we won't put pressure on hospitals. And we have a fair part in that. Yeah,
Neil, I'll come back to you in a second. Tom, your own situation there. How many staff, part-time and full-time, within the Cove Bar?
Well, that was very good news yesterday. That if it's true that we can pay them ourselves and get a refund later. Like anybody who deals with the social services, the revenue, know how difficult it is to get anything done speedily. I've dealt with people before on sick pay, and it takes 5 or 6 weeks when there's no crisis. So this news that we can pay our staff, and our staff we've had many years here, that we can pay them and claim it back is brilliant news. Because it's just going to make it so much easier. As I said, we'll have to check it out. It's only news that's come through to us late last night. But I hope it's okay.
Neil, what do you think of that?
Yeah, same as Tom. We only got the news last night after giving the directives to our own staff. And yeah, look, it is good news because, as Tom said, one big issue that we were looking at is the amount of staff that we would have had heading towards the social welfare officer trying to do this online. The tailbacks in the government would be colossal from this. So you wouldn't be seen to be getting paid, I'd say, for within a month if it was that way, and that's if not longer, to deal with the amounts of people that they're going to have to deal with coming through, and that's not the end of it, there's a lot more to come here, so.
As well as the staff, Tom Drowan, you have people that go to the pub maybe once or twice a week, particularly rural pubs, city pubs as well, for social interaction and this idea of just sharing a moment with people, that's now all gone. That's now taken away from them. There's going
probably the saddest part of all, Damien, because there's this perception out there, and again, it's social media driven, that the pubs are jointed and everyone's having a great time. Like 95% of the time, we're a service to our community. Today, at 12:30, we would be having our friendship dinner from the church below. There's 20 or 25 ladies come up once every month, and they sit down and they're there for a couple of hours. Curly Shirt runs it. It's a fantastic thing. My own father lives alone. He comes in here 4 or 5 times a week just to have something to eat and meet people and have a chat. And there's hundreds of people like that. And the sad thing, and this is important in this community, and we are in a community here, the sad thing and important thing is that this isolation is strange for us, but it's normal for a lot of people. And they're at home now, and their only social outlet is gone. It might just be the pub, it could be a trip to the shops, and they're scared. So contact people and drop notes in and ring them, and just, you don't have to go into them, but just let them know that someone's thinking about them, We started up with our own estate there 2 days ago, a WhatsApp group, and we're keeping an eye on people who don't have access to phones on WhatsApp, and it's important. You have to look after the community. I think we should come together on this and be positive,
Yeah, and Neil, you just sent me a text there a few minutes ago from a retailer in another part of the country, and we'll be talking about retail people in a while, that they're now looking at putting in place, I suppose, restrictions on people going into shops, taking it step by step and making sure that shops are not packed, and also that Tesco's have just put up a notice here saying that asking people not to bring their children with them when they go shopping.
I suppose the focus of everybody is on pubs, nightclubs and bars at the moment, but the real focus should be on supermarkets, shops and retailers. Well, not as much retail, but supermarkets are absolutely thronged at the moment, and they're struggling, to keep people safe within those. And I think really a lot of people need to start to look at going on home deliveries and getting stuff in like that. I know Tom says scaremongering, but it's now at a critical stage where we are compared to where Italy are. And, we don't have the medical structures that Italy have with ICU units and stuff like that. So, look, everybody needs to just sit up and do their bit for their own communities. If we can just concentrate on our own communities, we can get through this, So yeah. A lot of people now are self-isolating, and I agree with Tom. Like, we have a lot of customers in the Woodman. Their lives are totally changed. These guys, their social interactions are coming to the lads in the pub, getting a few hours, having the chat. So I agree with Tom and getting into WhatsApp groups. Some of these might even have WhatsApp groups phones, so pick up the phones and speak to the elderly, if they need anything. There's a few groups online that are trying to help things, anything we can do at the moment to try and keep people interacting, because you've taken away their whole life, in the pubs, which is tough, it's really, really tough, and my kids are going cracked at home because I can't leave them out, so I literally had to go into Smith's and get some board games and start doing stuff like that, So yeah, it's a tough time on families as well, because you're isolated in the housing, and but there's an eerie feeling around, you're watching everything. You don't want to send your kids out. You don't want to go out. You're kind of, it's just not a nice feeling around at the moment,
Yeah, and finally, Tom, do you think we'll get through this, Tom?
Of course we get through it, sure. Let's do a lot more than this. Look, this is strange. It's kind of a feeling of Christmas or kind of a feeling of snow at the moment. It's a couple of days. Give this 2 weeks down the road with people, it's going to be stir crazy. So I think a lot of calmness needed. And I think, I just watched it last night blow up on social media and on WhatsApp groups that I'd be involved in. And just the way stuff is being passed around. I know it's human nature to have the first bit of news and to pass it on and try and influence people in that way. But look after yourself, look after your own family, and try and keep calm. I think that's the main thing to say to people.
Very true. Neil Kelly and Tom Drone, to you and all your staff and your customers, mind yourselves, okay?
Thank you then.
Thanks, gentlemen. Neil Kelly there and Tom Drone, and we're going to be talking to some restaurant owners in a minute. I'm just going to take a few texts here. Damien, I see older people and younger ones using their gloves, as in winter gloves, going into shops and then driving home with them on. Unfortunately, it hasn't been explained to them that this can take the contamination further. Disposable gloves are the only way to do it, and dump them when you're done. Damien, just wondering if bars and hotels have closed. Hope they do. Yes, they have been asked to close. As I say, the government can't enforce that legal requirement at present. We need a change in the law. They may well do that later in the week. Damien, I have a hairdresser appointment tomorrow. What should I do? Damien, I can't understand why people coming back from Spain and Italy put into self-isolation, and yet all those that came back from Cheltenham weren't. Damien, many people went walking at a distance from each other in Tramore yesterday, but there were some places that were busy, business premises. People have to remember social distancing. Tried ringing social welfare all morning, getting no answer. Any information on how to get through to them? My understanding is you'll just have to keep trying. Damien, I heard about your guest speaking about Bank of Ireland and other banks freezing mortgages. What about the hundreds of thousands of renters in this country? What are we going to do? Damien, great to have Mass broadcast yesterday on WLR. Will Mass be broadcast tomorrow and every Sunday? The management are looking at that. What about school playgrounds? Some of them were very, very busy yesterday. As I said, some people are looking at this as a holiday. It's not a holiday, folks. It's not a holiday. I got a text from somebody who said that a person had called to an OAP's house to say that she would get the form from them and collect their pension from them and then sign it and bring it back to them to save them going out. My understanding in this particular one that this is a scam. So make sure like your normal procedures apply regarding collecting your old age pension or any social welfare requirements. Your normal procedures apply. We're going to be talking to a number of people in the programme, one person who's in Spain, another person who's in Italy as well, and we want to hear your stories about how you're getting on. 083 333 975, or you can call Laura at 051 846 123. We're also going to do our competition. We decided within the company here we're going to continue to do our competition to give people a bit of light relief in these difficult times, and we'll have that in the second part of the show. So please give us a text in 083 333 975. Give me a break. 083 333 975. Give me a break, and you can use the voucher, please God, later in the year. And this hotel prize for today, courtesy of Original Irish Hotels, is a nice weekend or a week, 2 days, 2 nights breakaway in the Gary Vaux Hotel in Cork. So text us in about that. Stay with us, please. We're going to have a lot more in the programme. Now, in a minute, I'm going to be talking to Lisa. Some questions. Damien, my daughter works in a hotel. They're still at the minute expecting to do treatments on people in the spa. Can this be right? You'll have to talk to the management within the company about that. Damien, what about the factories? Again, my understanding is management are making individual decisions regarding that. And a very important cohort of people, taxi drivers. A lot of taxi drivers are self-employed, and they have been texting in about what's going to happen regarding their situation. They will have no work either. There are so many different groups that this is going to have such a major, major effect on. This hasn't even started yet playing out. Lisa Fitzgerald, good morning.
Good morning, Damien.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thanks. I'm going to talk to you first, Lisa, as a business owner. You run a very successful business in town, Number 9 restaurant. What's the situation this morning?
Well, we made the decision yesterday morning to close, unfortunately. But while it seemed like a very difficult decision, in the grand scheme of things, it was while I think we were all waiting for some leadership from the government to tell us, you would prefer them to tell us what to do. But when there was nothing coming, we just felt it was the only thing to do. Business had fallen off a cliff. Once this all started, literally, business went down. Decisions to make. So we made the decision, and we're happy with the decisions we've made, as I think all businesses are having the same decision to make this morning.
Tell me, Lisa, what is the situation regarding your staff? How many part-time and full-time staff?
In Number 9, we'd have about 30 of the lads down there, and they have been amazing throughout the whole thing. We have followed all the guidelines, and it was working really well. We put the 2 metres between the tables and chairs. We were cleaning every 15 to 30 minutes and disinfecting, and all the staff have been amazing. And actually, even yesterday, when we made the decision, staff came in and said, what can we do to help? Which was so kind of them as well. The fact that, I think that's the sort of thing that happens at this time, and that people want to help. But it's difficult now because we're following all the guidelines of what to do. But until the it's great, as the guys were saying earlier, that this has come out that they're going to give us the
social welfare issues.
Social welfare.
Yeah.
But we're trying to work out how that is going to work in practice.
Yes.
A lot of stuff that they're saying is, we're going to this and we're going to do that. But what we need now is clear leadership from the government, and by doing that, they need to come out and say, we're going to close down the businesses, or we're asking the businesses to close down. We're going to get the banks to support the businesses, because without the bank support, there's not going to be any businesses to reopen. And that was one of our main decisions to close, was that, okay, we'll close, we're going to lose X amount of thousands a week while closed, but we need a business here for our staff. So when this is over, we have jobs to come back to look after our staff. But if the government would come out with some clear guidelines, it is great that revenue aren't going to, charge interest, but really more stringent plans need to be put in place so, we know we're okay and we will have jobs for our staff in 4 or 6 weeks' time.
The problem is obviously that your staff need money later in this week and next week to buy food and to pay rent
Exactly.
and to pay mortgages. And what's going to happen?
Well, this is what we're literally here. It's drowning in paperwork, which is what you don't want at this point. Trying to work out what is the best way for them, what is the quickest way. Obviously, we're supporting our staff, as much as we can. We're one of the bigger cafes. That's why we just made the decision that we'd close yesterday. But not everybody can do that. It's the margins are, and the government don't understand. The margins are extremely tight. Owner operators across the country are making small money, and the smaller the business, the harder this is going to be. And if they can pay straight, if the government could look after people straight away, it would make sure that everybody is able to pay their staff. But it's going to be very difficult for a lot of people in the next few weeks. And for the moment, we're just literally supporting our staff. Obviously, this week is fine. Then, as the weeks go on, there's nothing coming in, and if they're going to have to make decisions, they're going to have to reduce VAT. They're going to have to, talk about rates. There's going to have to be a lot of conversations, but there have to be conversations with actual answers as opposed to meetings about meetings. So, but I think most people, for us, we're there with our staff straight, and we can sit down and chat. What do you need? What do we do?
Yeah.
How can we help you? But I think that's for a lot of people, it's going to be very difficult.
Lisa, just stay on the line for a minute. I think Stephen is there. Are you there, Stephen?
I am indeed. How are you?
I'm okay, Stephen. Stephen Lynch, Coach House Coffee in Kilmacthomas.
Hi, Stephen.
On the Greenway, one of the most successful businesses in the last 4 to 5 years, I suppose. Tell us your situation, Stephen.
I suppose, Stephen, yesterday evening we had to come to a decision to, like he says, to close our doors at 6 o'clock. And just due to the outbreak of the coronavirus. And unfortunately, all our staff are no longer employed with us this morning. It's quite a surreal moment, actually, to be honest. This morning we're here drowned in paperwork trying to get social welfare stuff, all those kind of bits and pieces tied up for the staff that are with us this morning. In fact, some of the staff are back in this morning and they're trying to tidy up, we're trying to use up some of the food, freeze it off, save as much as we can save, things like that. It's a bizarre scenario at the minute, to be honest.
Yeah. And are you, technically, have you made them redundant, or what's the situation?
No, we haven't made them redundant. And to be honest with you, it's after happening so quick that we're just here this morning trying to see what is the best way to do this for both the business and the staff themselves. But as it stands, we have about 25 staff this morning that don't have jobs because of this virus. So we're trying to protect them as best we can.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we have no other choice but to keep trading. So to take maybe hit at the start, but to ensure that the business is viable long term, and to ensure the most important thing is to ensure that everybody this morning who has left us will come back to a job maybe in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
And I think everybody understands that kind of short-term pain for a long-term gain, really.
Can I ask both of you? I'll ask Lisa first. Lisa, how long obviously you're going to be closed. There's no cash now coming in. If it's 2 to 3 weeks, maybe okay. Have you made any estimation about how long can you survive with the doors being closed?
We actually haven't gotten that far yet. But 2 to 3 weeks, in realistic terms, I think we all know this is going to be longer. And that's where the problem is. And without the support, as I would say, like from the government coming in and literally actual support, actual money to help and, reductions in payments. If it goes on months, there can't be businesses. Businesses can't survive because it costs a couple of thousand to be closed. So if it costs 2,000 to be closed, then over 6-8 weeks. So the most important thing really is that people follow the guidelines for refill. And if everybody could if we could do something for 2 weeks and maybe not do the opposite of what the Italies and Chinas have done, so that we can all get back to business and people can get back into town and support the local businesses. And that's really, I think, what we can all just hope for.
Stephen?
Yeah, I think Lisa is right. Even though the coach hasn't sure Lisa's the same, even though we're closed this morning, it's still costing money to keep the business closed, whether it be running fridges, stock, etc. that's being wasted. But I think the government really need to help businesses like ourselves. So Lisa and myself would have one of the larger coffee shops and restaurants in Waterford City. So I can't imagine what it's like for the smaller traders, but it's difficult for everybody. And really the government now will need to act and help us as best we can in terms of real money, in terms of trying to help pay staff, pay suppliers, etc., etc. I think we need some decisive action from them so that we know exactly where we stand and where we don't stand. There's a huge amount of uncertainty at the minute across the board, and that really doesn't help anything either.
Lisa Fitzgerald and Stephen Lynch, thank you, and to you and your staff, mind yourselves, okay?
Thanks, David.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Lisa Fitzgerald, their number 9 restaurant in town, and Stephen Lynch, Coach House Coffee in Kilmacthomas. Damien, are all council staff workers safe at the moment? My husband is a council worker. Again, my understanding is that the council have put in big safety measures. To all Irish families, I'm living on illness benefit for years, not entitled to anything. I'm happy, no holidays, no takeaways, no internet. I drive a 16-year-old car. I pay my mortgage. I live off my children's allowance. Is it possible to survive? It is. Go for walks, play with your children, sit in your garden, read, and thank God for each day. We will get through this. What about delivery drivers, Damien, working in local supermarkets? In Dungarvan, different places, they won't be able to keep up with the demands. Things have come in such a massive way. Can I just say a big thank you to the government and also to WLR for keeping us informed and interviewing the right people who know their stuff. Thank you for that text. Damien, any news on the NCT testing? That's from John. No, I haven't heard. We will see if we can find out something about that, but we haven't heard. What about loans in credit unions if you can't get into pay? Another texter, listening to your show, Tramore was thronged yesterday. It's fine going out, walking as couples or as small groups, but in terms of social distancing, issues have to be obeyed. People texting in as well, give me a break. GIMME, give me a break if you want to enter our competition. Another person saying, thank you for the mass yesterday. Is there any chance of doing it again? Again, like I said, we will see what management say about that. Stay with us. Now, keep your texts and your comments coming in. A person asking, should the council be closing down the playgrounds, for example, the People's Park and small parks around the country, around the city and county? Damien, a lovely post lady up in Hillview, Marion, she is taking all the precautions, using gloves. Well done to her. Other people texting in that we should be all singing the national anthem tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Lá Pádraig, and that may well happen. You could see an outpouring of solidarity at that time. As I say, I'm suggesting that we all hang tricolours from our balconies or from our houses. Dunhill GA Club have just texted in, Donal has texted in, volunteers are available to help elderly in the community, and they can call Niall Dunphy there if they're in mid-Waterford, in around the Dunhill area, 086 632 3041. 087 632 30 41. Going to talk now to Sean in Harvey Travel. Sean, good morning.
Good morning, Damien.
Sean, tell me about the situation regarding travel at present.
Right, well, basically, I suppose that we're trying to deal with this on a daily basis. And at the moment, our endeavours this morning are to get everybody back from Spain in particular. That's what the Minister has been saying last night, that everybody has to be back by Thursday night. I heard Mr. Coveney making that statement. So basically, that's the brief that we have here. We're contacting people in Spain and in the Canary Islands, and we're working to get them back either today, tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, I had a text from a friend last night who was stuck in Lanzarote. Very worried indeed, she says. We got flights with Ryanair last night for Thursday, as that seems to be the cut-off for flights. They paid €800 for 2 seats, but there was no flights left on the seat, no seats left on the flight. What are they doing? Are they taking our bookings and then sending out more planes? People are going to get on the planes here. Can't get through to Ryanair. Have you any information? There is confusion. Another person texted in from Spain as well that's trying to get back, and it hasn't yet been sorted. We've heard the Minister, Simon Coveney, reassuring people that they will be able to get back. Have you had calls from people regarding worries, Sean?
No, well, I mean to say the people that were, I suppose, maybe lucky that the people that we had out there, we secured them all to come home on tomorrow or Thursday. I think I heard a statement last night, and what he was saying basically is that they will send out aeroplanes, whether it be 1, 2, 3, the aeroplanes to the Canary Islands to bring people back. I think that seems to be the area where most people are on holidays at this time of the year, you know. It's either Gran Canaria, Tenerife, Lanzarote in particular. So that's the way I see it. But it's impossible to contact the airlines at the moment on a telephone. What we're working through is working through their internet sites. And that's it. So that's where we are.
I presume as well, Sean, your own business there, I presume you've seen a massive fall off in bookings.
Yeah, naturally. I mean to say, like, there's no new bookings. All we're trying to do is to fix up everybody that we have, and we're working behind closed doors here to answer people's queries, stuff that's down the line. We're trying to sort of say to them we have had no definite news from the airlines for other than the fact that anybody that was going to New York or to the United States won't be going within the next 30 days based on the order that was placed. I think it was Saturday night or Sunday morning. So that's where it is at the moment, Damien. And it really is a waiting game, or it's one day at a time, I suppose. That's the best way to put it to the people. And we're trying to work through it as best we can. I think that all my colleagues in the travel trade all over the country are in the same situation.
Like you have been in the travel trade, as we've reported with you, Sean, for decades. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Oh, not at all. Nothing like it in the slightest. I mean, I remember the ash cloud, which in its own right was challenging, but nothing as challenging as this one, because, this is whereby, flights all over the world are being affected, and people are stranded abroad, and the whole thing is to try and get those people home. That's the main worry at the moment, to get people home from where they are to base. But thankfully, lots of them are in Europe, because I'd have to sort of say that the month of March would not be a peak time for travel to any part of Europe. So I suppose all of us are a little lucky in that respect.
As you say, it's a waiting game. How long can you wait, Sean, before you may have to make a decision yourselves?
Well, I believe that I'll be here to service the Waterford public as I have done for the last 50 years, and that's my statement.
Sean, mind yourself.
Thank you very much, Damien. Bye now.
Thank you. Sean there from Harvey Travel. A lot of people texting in with a lot of questions. As I say, I am not going to advise people one way or the other. I'm not an expert at certain things. There will be issues that I'll be able to deal with and we'll be able to deal with in this programme, but we will only deal with facts. There will be a lot of people with different questions that they need to talk to their employers in particular about. They need to try and talk to maybe other officials regarding different matters. Well done. Keep the positivity going, lads. Lots of order of calm about WLR this morning. And that's exactly the strategy and that's the approach that we are going to take. We will give out the information if people want to text in regarding different matters and help supports and different groups that are being set up. We will do that. Damien, please announce that the Edmund Rice active retirement is cancelled until further notice. It would be grateful if you could read this out. That's from Breda Myler in the Edmund Rice Centre. Breda, to everybody there and with you, take care and mind yourselves, and anybody who's used the active retirement, take care. Are there any clubs in Dungarvan for old people? I don't know. Another text here, when we're going to get our wages. Another person saying when this gets back to normal, businesses will be supported and we will have a massive bounce back on this. Damien, I've been trying to get through to my oil company. I'm just wondering, has anybody any issues getting through to oil companies? I'd say they could just be very, very busy. The supermarkets and off licences need to put in place certain restrictions in terms of people going in at certain times, says this texter. Damien, I have a small business. If I have to close, the government say we have to pay our staff and they'll pay us back. But if this goes on for longer than they expect it, then the money just won't be there in the end. Keep in touch, please. 083 3333 975. Text in, give me a break if you want to have a chance to win a holiday for later in the year. 083 3333 975. Now keep your texts and your comments coming in. Well done, Damien and WLR, for all the information and getting it through in a very calm manner. But somebody texting in about their hair appointment, really people need to think seriously about these issues. What about the PAYE worker who has nobody to mind their children for them and won't get paid from their employers, have to take hits for their pockets for years? We're going to talk about childcare now for a few minutes. Elaine Walsh, good morning.
Hi, Damien. How are you? I'm
good, thank you. I'm good. Elaine Walsh, you run the Undina Beag childcare facility, the creche facility in Dunhill. What's your situation?
Yeah, look, like every other childcare service in the country, we had to shut our doors from Thursday evening last at 6 p.m. I think it's a good call by the government. Like, we have to try and stop the spread of this virus. But unfortunately, in a sector that is already, at breaking point, it is, obviously a very, very bad situation for us.
I can hear the emotion in your voice, Elaine. It's really, really difficult for parents, isn't it? It's gut-wrenching. Like, some parents, well, a lot of parents are left without childcare, and they're in a situation where maybe one can go to work and the other has to stay at home. And, it's especially difficult for frontline medical staff like doctors, nurses, paramedics. But if I actually did put up on my own page, Damien, that if I could be assistance at all to any frontline medical staff, that I'd actually volunteer to take their children. And now, obviously, I could only take one family at a given day, children from one family at a given day, just for safety precautions. How many staff have been laid off, and what's the situation?
Well, Damien, the government have set that for the 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks, that the schemes will be paid to the childcare services. So as in the ECCE scheme, tech schemes, CCS schemes. So for the first 2 weeks, I can afford to pay some of my staff. But unfortunately, we would have fee paying as well. But obviously, if parents aren't in work, in my personal situation, I would not be asking parents to pay fees. As for Undina Beag, we would not be asking parents to pay fees while we are closed.
What stories have you heard from people? Have mammies and daddies and grannies and granddads been talking to you? And I presume you've been hearing personal stories of difficulties.
Oh, absolutely. As I said, working parents, we're two are working now, only one is working. And it's a huge financial struggle for parents at this particular time because, you're still facing the same bills every day, the same expenses, same costs. It's very, very hard. But I would urge people, Damien, I know it's very, very hard without childcare, but please do not send the children to the grandparents or elderly people because, as we all know, that they are more susceptible to this virus than the youth.
What's your own situation?
The situation at the minute is that I am doing paperwork and doing a real thorough deep clean, and we're just painting the whole inside of the school and just doing what we can do, just for the time being. And as I said, anybody on frontline health professionals out there, I have the on Dinnabeog page if they want to private message me, or even indeed on my own personal Facebook page, that I will go and collect and drop back. But it can only be children from one family on any given day.
OK. Elaine Walsh, thank you very much. Mind yourself and your family and all related to you, OK?
OK, thanks very much, Damien. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Elaine Walsh there from Dinnabeog in Dunhill regarding childcare facilities. And she mentioned mammies. And for mammies, we're going to have a little prize as well today. An afternoon tea and spa treatment for you at Faith Lake House Hotel. Again, it'll be a voucher. You can use it later in the year if you want. It'll be a nice little thing to get. We're teaming up with Mulligan's Pharmacy to help spoil the mammies. If you want, avail of 10% off selected beauty, skincare, fragrances as well at Mulligan's Pharmacy. Get a Mulligan's gift card. All you want to do is text us in the best advice you've ever received from a mammy or mammy. Anything funny, anything serious, anything downright crazy. Text us in to 083 333 975, or you can call Laura on 051 846 123. Any little advice that mammy has ever given you. Somebody returned from Spain the last few days. They've been in isolation since last Friday and now have to go to work in a factory. What is the situation with this? Again, you'll have to talk to your employer about that. Damien, regarding childcare, what about parents with children in creche money paid? In some cases, in my case, I paid €800. No refund, no childcare, no service. What about those parents, both at work, trying to sort out childcare? It is a nightmare, says this texter. That's very, very difficult situation. Very, very difficult situation. Another person asking about delivery drivers. A bin man has texted in. Damien, can you please read this out on your programme? People need to listen to what I have to say, says this person. I work for a local bin collection company in Waterford. I'm worried that we might be handling possibly infected people's rubbish and are essentially breathing it in as soon as it's emptied into the truck. Now, we do have gloves touching the bin handles, and I use them myself, and we all do. We also used alcohol-based aloe vera gel to wash the hands, but it's possibly breathing in the virus in the bins or dust particles coming out of the truck from the rubbish. As I said earlier on a social media post, it's not airborne in terms of It is airborne when it spreads from one person to another in terms of somebody sneezing, but it's the actual particles itself on particular rubbish matters. Can you please ask listeners, or even is it possible that they should make sure that all bins are, I suppose, put into bags, says this person, and that everything is secure and is secured? Yes, that's a very, very good point. Now, can you please mention that Barry O'Rourke from Ballybeg will be collecting groceries and running errands for his neighbours between 7 and 10 o'clock any evening? Please contact him through his Facebook page. Got a text in. There's a very big Facebook group which has been set up as well. Again, what we've decided to do on this programme is to give out information, use WLR as a conduit for information to help people through these difficult times. It's called the COVID-19 Waterford Community Action Group. Paul Dower is involved in that. I know they're going in for a strategy meeting at 11 o'clock, so I may not be able to talk to Paul afterwards, but we might try and get him. It's a Facebook page and Facebook group with 4,500 members already. So it's the COVID-19 Waterford Community Action Group. They're offering advice and help. And as he says, Waterford people are really pulling together. It's brilliant to see. There's no scaremongering. All information sources are from trusted sources. That's exactly the way that we are doing it on this programme. And Rita's texted in, anybody who is online or on Facebook, if you can, and if you want to have Mass, go to Ennistimon Parish Church. That's Ennistimon Parish Church in West Clare. Just go on Facebook, type in Ennistimon Parish in Clare. They do a lovely Mass broadcast at 11 o'clock each morning. Keep your texts coming in. Give me a break, GIMME, give me a break to 083 333 975, text or WhatsApp. Or if you want to text in regarding advice your mother has given, text us into those same numbers as well.